Hello and welcome to Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we talk about all things to do with theological books, be they on your reading list for a bachelor's or master's degree or for a course at Bible College, or whether it is because you've just seen them on a fellow pastor or minister's bookshelf and you want to know a bit more about them. Well, today we're going to deal with a fairly new commentary series, and if you like what I have to say, please remember to give us a thumbs up and click on subscribe and then click on the bell on YouTube, and that way you will get to know as soon as we launch another episode of Pastor's Library. So my name is Stephen Redman, and today I want to talk to you about the Story of God Commentary series. Now, this is a series that's not been out a long time. In fact, the first one that I came across was written by Scott McKnight, and it's a commentary on the Sermon on the Mount. So this is a commentary on basically a few chapters in Matthew's Gospel, which is going at some. And this was written in 2013. So this, I think, was the first one out. I might be slightly in error on that, but it was about that time, and any others that came out about that time would be possibly up for competition. But these all have a very similar layout. I mean, firstly, the layout is good. You've got a certain amount of gradient of black on white on grey on the page. You've got the story, which is the Bible translation, an explanation of the story, and then you have a section called Live the Story, which is really about application. And the overall theme of the idea of these commentaries is that the Bible is a story. It's presented by many storytellers, but we need to understand how the story connects and understand how the story impacts us. And I quite like the idea behind that. And these are all presented in good solid hardbacks with pre-printed covers that don't have sleeves on them. And they are really excellent. And you've got some of the best names in commentary on the back of this recommending it. Scott McKnight has been the general editor for the New Testament, Temple Longman, the general editor for the Old Testament. So in a sense there, you've got two top names that are there. And on the back, you've got recommendations from Darrell Bock, Craig Keener, John Ortberg, Craig Blomberg, and others. These are big names in the Bible scene. So what I would say to you is these, I think, are really much more in competition with the NIVAX, the New International Version Application Commentary, than they are with most others. But they do have a unique take, and they are good. And what I would say is these are also not really academic, and you can sit down with them and read them like a book, which is not always normal with a commentary series. For example, the New Beacon Bible commentaries are more academic than these, but you do have good bibliography, good referencing. These have been offered to us in a very appropriate fashion. The footnotes are excellent. I'm not saying this isn't academic totally. What I'm saying is it doesn't come across as overly academic. But wherever you are in life, I am quite sure you would get something from this series. And certainly it's very good for pastors, very good for home group leaders, people who are wanting to study a particular subject. And whereas the Sermon on the Mount has been a subject for commentaries over the years, and I have a couple of others, this one is perhaps the only really recent one that I'm aware of that's come out as a commentary on the Sermon on the Mount. So that's a good one. I'm going to give you two examples from the Old and two examples from the New. By the way, this isn't fully released yet, but a lot of it is out. I think I've got all the ones that are out. But I'm just going to offer you two from the Old and two from the New Testament. Temple Longman, who's the general editor of the Old Testament, has done the commentary on Genesis, and as you would expect from him, this is a top quality standard. It's very, very good commentary. And it's great what he has to say about Abraham and Sarah and Ishmael and all of those issues. I found this book very, very good indeed, and I would recommend it to anybody. I'm not going to say this is going to be in my top 3 commentary series, because it isn't, but it is a well worth having access to series, and I would not dismiss it. If you've got someone in your church that fancies buying you a copy now and again, accept them with glee. They're good commentaries. Christopher Wright is someone that I have been reading his writings for some time, and he's done the volume on Exodus, and this is absolutely excellent. There is so much here in about the incident with the giving of the law on Mount Sinai, the impact that has on the children of Israel, the issue of trying to get it took a matter of a few months or even a few days, depending on your perspective, to get Israel out of Egypt, but it took 40 years to try and get Egypt out of Israel, and I'm not sure how successful that was. But this is a good commentary, and it will take you through that story. In the New Testament, I particularly want to draw your attention to Philippians by Lynn Cohick. Lynn Cohick is now quite an established commentator. She's done some great work, and this one on Philippians is an excellent addition to the range. And frankly, it's a good commentary, and I would recommend that you read this one. If you're reading chapter 4, it will really enrich your understanding of chapter 4, as it will with the other 3 chapters. But the last one I want to point you to is Michael Bird's commentary on Romans. Now, the trouble with Romans is that everybody has done a commentary on Romans. And some of the Romans commentaries we've had over the years and decades have been absolutely outstanding. And it's a big ask to get someone to do a new commentary on Romans. But Michael Bird is at the top of his tree in studying and theology, and he's done some great work. He's done some joint projects with N.T. Wright, and he also has an absolutely fabulous blog, which you can get an awful lot from. He really has done well with this commentary on Romans. For example, if you look at Romans 8, Romans 8, verse 17 verses in particular, we're very familiar with. It starts with there being no condemnation. And he deals with it in particular areas. He talks about having assurance and not having anxiety. Now, those are very real experiences that people need to understand. And I felt that section was good. He has a lovely section on the spirit versus the flesh, and another excellent section on the adoption court, about us being legally adopted by God. And this again is a commentary that's well worth having. One day I'm going to do one of these videos on commentaries of the book of Romans, and it really is a difficult one to make recommendations in. But if you're wanting to try out the Story of God Bible Commentaries, then this one by Michael Bird is a good one to start with. It really is an excellent commentary on the book of Romans, and I'm sure you will get a lot out of it. Michael Bird, I do find his work is very easy to dip into. He writes accessibly, his communication skills are excellent. And so, whereas I could go through more with you, we try to do these videos in about 10 minutes, and I think my time is almost up. But just to say, I hope that has scratched an itch for you and helped you recognise that this is a series of ongoing commentaries which are not yet 10 years old at the time of me videoing this and are still not yet complete. But they do offer something a little bit different and will maybe challenge NIVAC users over the next few years. I hope that helps you. If it has, remember to give us a thumbs up, click on subscribe, click on the bell, and we'll let you know as soon as a new episode of Pastor's Library is launched. God bless you. Bye.